Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to Rise Up After Dark. Today is Wednesday, October 15th, and we are here once again for some DYOR, BYOB, let your hair down, fun times. It's your expert guest interview, altcoin research, talk a little, you know what, about the crypto industry show. And we want to hear from you. Wherever you are, whenever you listen, we hope your candles are green. If you're with us live, feel free to drop your questions in the comments. And if you're listening in podcast land, then don't forget to jump into the community at community.rumshq.com. The only thing missing is you, and it's the place your questions will live and reach us 24/7. Tonight, I am very, very pleased to tell you that we are joined by the one, the only, Isabel Gonzalez. She is one of the founders of Poh-app Inc., the company behind the proof of attendance protocol we love so much. They were the first, and they remain, in my humble opinion, the best platform for creating precious digital collectibles from your memorable life experiences. They've got nearly 7.5 million Poh-apps minted for all sorts of events. She joined the team in 2021. She was in Buenos Aires for a year before returning to New York, where she's been since 2019. And now she's joining us on Rise Up After Dark. Isabel, thank you for making time and welcome to the show. How are you?
Evan, it is a thrill to be here with you guys today. I think we've been talking about doing this for maybe the better part of a year now. And so I'm so happy that we finally got the opportunity.
Oh my gosh, I am too. It's been a long time coming. We've been longtime users and fans of Poh-app. We've been collecting, we've been issuing, and I just love what you do. Let me let you in on a little secret that tonight, while you're here with us, in addition to talking about your work, about Poh-app, we like to play a little game where every time you hear this sound, it means that you, if you're speaking, or someone you're speaking about, has received a point. And every time you hear this sound, it means that you or someone you're speaking about has lost a point. And at the end of the night, if we reach an arbitrary amount of points, somebody who gets the most, they're going to win a fabulous prize, and at the very least, some canned applause. Make sense? Sound good?
That sounds excellent.
I would like to point out that tonight is the first night where I get to use the Victorian bell that I purchased on Amazon, because I felt like, why not have a real bell, which unfortunately is too loud near this microphone, so we need to make sure it doesn't absolutely murder everyone's ears who's listening to this in podcast land.
Dang, a little bit of a tone on that bell. You can really tell the quality craftsmanship.
You can tell it's real, you know? You can tell I really shelled out those $17 on Amazon.
Oh my goodness gracious, and I think it was worth it. We are without co-host Alex Popovich tonight. He is celebrating Christina's birthday. So I think I'm going to start off by giving 10 points to Christina, and maybe
that's fair,
an extra 5 points because it's her birthday. So congratulations and happy birthday, Christina. Isabel, as our honored guest, do you want to tell us a little more about yourself? Anything I didn't cover in the bio that we need to know? How'd you come to crypto? What do you spend your time doing? All that good stuff.
Yeah. So I guess I'm going to start at the beginning. I was born in Spain, raised in Russia. My family moved to Canada at some point in the early 2000s. And growing up, I found myself, as many third cultural children do, spending quite a lot of time on the internet, right? The internet is our favorite place where everyone belongs. I think there's a great Bo Burnham song that I heard like an excellent rendition of some more time at FarCon. Welcome to the internet. I don't know, have you ever heard it?
Oh, it's so good. Yes,
it's
so
like
good.
Just excellent. I don't know, some people can't stand anthology music. I personally love it. And I guess that's probably the beginning of the story of like how it is that I came to crypto. When I moved to university, eventually I found myself mostly doing a bunch of freelance work, and at some point someone decided to pay me in Bitcoin, and that's kind of the very first encounter I had with the whole thing. Fast forward some number of years, I was working on a trading platform. We were building out something for trading high liquidity instruments, and at that time that involved SPX, QQQ, and then Ethereum, Bitcoin. They're 24/7 markets, trade high volume, lots of volatility. And so they kind of adapted themselves very well to our purpose. This was in 2019. And so by the time that I was leaving in early 2021, that was, I guess, NFT spring, summer. At that point, I had owned some Ether for a while, been kind of floating peripherally around this community for a long time. And thought to myself, I find myself between things. This seems like a good time as any to explore everything happening in NFTs at the time. Which there's a lot of exciting stuff going on. It seemed like a new dawn for understanding the different ways that humans can organize online. And I got excited about it, frankly. Got into collecting some PFPs, joined some different Discords, collected a lot of photography. So that's something that I have loved for a long time, is photography. And so I kind of to this day maintain a collection. And I wound up meeting Patricia Worthhalter, the inventor and founder of Poh-wop, at, believe it or not, it was an NFT collectors meetup in New York. I came across a man in an orange jacket, and we started talking about this thing that he was working on at that point for a little while. I guess it was a year and some change, called Poh-wop, right? And the idea that you can like get these little collectibles for attending different events. And I found it all really exciting and interesting. Like there seemed to be a lot of different applications, particularly in the ways of like bringing people together and helping people find their communities of affinity, that made me feel like this was really something that I wanted to be involved with. And so I got involved with it. And I guess now I've been, the rest is history, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
So, couple questions out the gate from everything, starting from beginning to the end of your story. What was the freelance work that you did that someone wanted to pay you in Bitcoin that was your first kind of exposure to it?
So it was like marketing stuff. I was building out landing pages, and more or less the situation at the time was receiving money in Canada tends to be like, if you're going inside the country, it's not so bad. But if you're dealing with anything cross-border, trying to work for people in the States, you kind of find yourself in this somewhat weird thing of like, either they need to wire something, and that's going to be quite a pain in the ass, especially if you're like 19 years old and don't really want to deal with anything banks, or else you might use something like TransferWise. And again, like setting up the accounts for that tends to be, especially if you haven't like incorporated a business, being a 19-year-old, a little bit complicated. And so finally, like the thing that we managed to settle on was either it was going to be PayPal or this thing called Bitcoin. And I was always kind of interested in tech. I was a tech person. So I'm like, okay, let me try and figure out what this thing called Bitcoin is.
Nice. Oh, I love that. And I was just having a conversation with one of my buddies is a videographer, and I asked him to help me out with shooting some like high-end content that I was experimenting with. And he was like, hey man, yeah, wire transfer or cash. And I was like, hey dude, like have you even just like thought about stable coins at all? And he's like, I only accept the dollar. And I was like, well, buddy, let me tell you something. I was like, let me tell you something, man, because this would be way easier and cheaper for you. So I onboarded, I'm onboarding one videographer and one barber at a time. I'm slowly getting all of my barbers in my barbershop.
That makes a lot of sense. To be honest, it's a similar story that tends to happen quite a lot. I know in Buenos Aires, and I've also heard some places in the Middle East that like the whole payments infrastructure sometimes tends to be sufficiently delicate, so to say, that especially for people that are doing work online, like developers, designers, anyone that has interfaced with Upwork as a platform, sometimes it happens that that's your first exposure to Bitcoin, Ethereum, is learning that you can actually transfer money from US companies into your online digital wallet, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just had the pleasure of integrating crypto payments on Stripe. That's where we take a lot of our payments for membership and stuff like that. And we're still setting up the on-ramp, but I love all the different kinds of supporting documents they have. And, Stripe, Bridge, Privy, that whole stack, I think is going to make it super easy for a lot of people who don't even really know about crypto to start using it without any specialized experience whatsoever. It's very exciting.
Mm-hmm. I got to say, it was pretty crazy taking money that I had on Courtyard, because I was ripping some Pokemon packs, and it said, hey, you can transfer this to, I think it was my PayPal or my it's to my Venmo account.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I've never seen that before. And it was like a few $1,000s that was on there. And I just like
so we have come such a long way. In terms
know.
of the
It was amazing.
interoperability of all this stuff, it's absolutely crazy. Like I remember back at the time that this was all happening, like the only way that you would manage to get it done is going through a couple of pretty sketchy, like centralized exchanges. There's a fun fact of like the whole Quadriga collapse in Canada. I think the guy that was running it basically like disappeared to India and died and made off with like a bunch of people's money. But yeah, like we're in a different world now. Crypto's gone very, very legit, and it's kind of exciting to see.
Yeah, I've been joking with Alex and Evan at the next couple conferences we go to. Slowly, you're going to start seeing more like suit jackets showing up over time, and yeah, it's definitely going to start happening. Crypto is growing up in front of us. For some people, too fast. For some people, not fast enough, depending on what topic you're talking about. But yeah, it's getting pretty easy to just take crypto, and then all of a sudden, hey, your number in your bank account is gone up all of a sudden. Pretty cool.
Well, speaking of suit jackets, have you ever seen the founder of Poh-app, Patricio Werthalter?
I have not.
Okay, Isabel mentioned Patricio, and if you see him once, you'll see him every time. He wears this super unique,
that's the one,
like blazer. And the first time I met him, he also had like a MetaMask fox scarf, and he hands out these little badges. The whole team does, right, Isabel? When you guys go to conferences, it's like a physical sort of Poh-app.
So it's like there's a couple of things. There's the Poh-ups that you can get for meeting the Poh-up team, but then there are the Poh-up patches, which are kind of like the physical collectibles that you can get from us. Let me see if I grab one off the back of my lap. Actually, here, give me 1 second. I'm gonna run up and grab one if you don't mind. I can show you. I have a little collection here.
I don't want it at all. And let me say to the folks who are watching in podcast land, this is a good chance to switch on over to YouTube, because there will be a couple of visual things, and you're going to want to see them. So what do you got here?
I have a little bag of like Poh-up related merch. Some of my this is my archive, let's say. And so yeah, they come in like different flavors and styles, I guess. There's some from like here's some past ETH Denver ones.
Oh, these are nice.
Yeah, they have gotten pretty creative. I'm actually very excited. I don't think we've released the one for DevConnect Buenos Aires as yet. This is one from SF. There are some from Japan. I have quite a lot, so we can spend probably like the rest of the hour with just me showing you Poh-up patches if you want. But it's fun. So there's some people that have like that have gotten enough of them from us over the years that they've managed to cover like the whole backside of a backpack or a jacket, like the whole kind of shebang. It's pretty impressive, frankly.
Yeah. I put mine on my jean jacket, and I have one or two on a laptop, and I just think they're some of the best collectibles in crypto. And maybe this is a good time, though a lot of our listeners and viewers are familiar and have collected Poh-apps themselves. What exactly is a Poh-app?
A Poh-up is a precious digital collectible that you get for being at a special place during a special time with certain special people. Anyone can make one, and you can get them for attending basically any event that someone has decided to issue a Poh-up for. So all it really takes is a little bit of a spark of intent. You can get them for attending conferences, big ones, small ones, crypto ones, non-crypto ones. Oftentimes concerts, sports matches, for people's weddings, for meeting someone. Basically, it's a slightly fancier way of doing, like you can almost think of it proof of work, right? That it's a way of claiming the credit that you did something that was worth remembering.
Alex, our co-host, often says a Poh-app is a way to prove that you did a thing on chain.
And someone cared. It was a thing that someone cared about on chain.
I love the care dimension. And Alex said, I'm stealing that definition and incorporating it into my spiel. So Alex, there's a ding for you. And Christina, just so you know, Alex is off to a strong start. She's got 15 points. Let her know. Let her know. Happy birthday.
Enjoy the real birthday celebrations, guys.
It's the real birthday gift she's going to care about.
And I'm just curious too, because I hear everybody say it differently. I hear you saying Poh-wop. I've heard Vitalik say Pope. I tend to be a little Midwestern and have always just read it like Poh-app. Is there, in fact, an approved, correct, received pronunciation of POAP?
So we try not to be too dogmatic about the thing. I think Poh-wop at some level belongs to everyone. Poh-wop and Poh-app are both fine. If you have an accent, it's fine. Pope is not great. The Catholics at one point have gotten somewhat upset, and we try not to infringe our protocol on anyone's religion. So try to steer away from Pope, perhaps, but that technically was, I think, the original pronunciation. And so if Vitalik wants to be, how to say, like a high fidelity to the original version, it's his right.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick a Vitalik.
I would really hope, though, that if you guys are at a conference in Rome and you're close to the Vatican, you have to make a Poh-app that is like the Pope's hat in shape, and just really get close to that line.
So at one point, there used to be that the Pope was actually from Argentina, right? He was from Buenos Aires, and it used to be
Pope
said
Frankie.
that Buenos Aires was like the only city that you could find two popes on the same street.
When do you ever have that problem?
But I guess perhaps if we wind up in Rome sometime soon, maybe there's some kind of a play there. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah.
All I'm saying is you can take that idea free of charge.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I'm curious. So with how Poh-apps are used, kind of show, I like the definition too, like that you did something on chain and people cared. How do you kind of see, or would like to see, Poh-apps usage kind of expand into the crypto space? And I'm curious if you think, because I feel like even people who've been in the crypto space for a while, they might not have heard or be familiar. You go to crypto events and Poh-apps aren't offered kind of everywhere, even though they should be. And I think like a bigger kind of crime in the crypto space is hell, you'll go to an NFT focused conference and your ticket's not an NFT, right? There's no possible option there. So I'm curious to just kind of get your sense as to how Poh-apps being used and how you kind of see its expansion in terms of its use.
Yeah. So stepping back for a bit, I think for me, what got me really excited about Poh-wop, like as a concept, as an idea, was this notion that you have a system that's dedicated to preserving human history, right? It's dedicated to preserving all of the things that contributed to the development of a particular field or endeavor or a community or group of them. And I think to that end, like what I actually get really excited about is when people use Poh-wop for particularly like their small, intimate events, the things that were significant internally, but may not have much of like an obvious external purpose yet. I can give you one example, maybe if it helps. There was at one point in, I think it was in 2022, some VCs that made like a bet of what would be true in 5 years. I'm trying to remember exactly the context, but basically they issued this token to everyone in both of these like investment firms so that they remembered, like 5 years from now when the results of this bet become available, one company owes the other company a dinner. Right. And I think that's the kind of thing that for us, we get excited about it because it's interesting, significant, and also kind of, I think, respects the fact that at this particular point in time, these things are kind of subscale. For us, I think in order to see Poh-wop have like truly mass market adoption, there's a lot of things that need to happen. Most of them having to do with having much more robust distribution methods than the ones that are available to us today. I think to date, that's kind of been one big barrier, is that distributing Poh-wops in a way that is like sufficiently high fidelity to make sure that the people that actually get them are the people that were at the event. The people that do not get them were not the people that were there. That does create it's not particularly easy, but it's something that seems to get easier and easier every year as we work on the systems and kind of battle test them a little bit, and add also different ways of tightening the security parameters without leaving anyone out. And so I think to say there are some things today that Poh-wop works very well for, particularly commemorating like small private events between small groups of people. That is something that it can and I think should be used whenever you can figure out how to use it. For larger events, we're always happy to help you get it done. And generally speaking, it is still easy enough to get done. Like I think DevConnect has, at this point, I want to say somewhere between like 15 and 20 fairly large activations that use Poh-wop for the things that it is rightfully used for. But we also recognize like it does take a little bit more effort. It's not the kind of thing that's super turnkey, and not the kind of thing that can be driven, let's say, bottoms up, right, versus top down by the event organizers. And so that's the one that I think we expect that it's going to get there in time. But for the purposes of preserving like the history of particularly small groups of people, call it like under 20, that's something that I would love to see how we can contribute to helping people remember the things that happened to them that were important.
Isabel, can you tell us more about the process of getting a Poh-app? I've got a couple of different websites here at the Ready to Share, and I'll just say that if you want to play along, the place to start is, in fact, home.poap.xyz. That's going to take you to a screen that'll allow you to download the app, Poh-app Home. And from there, of course, you just knock the home off and you go over to Poh-app.xyz. Is that right? Is that where you'd recommend folks get started?
So are you trying to make a Poh-app or are you trying to mint a Poh-app?
Well, I want people to be able to do both. And I find that maybe folks who want to learn a little about it might start here, but that's why I'm asking you is
okay, right on. So for us, like when we think about Poh-app, we tend to think about two sides. First, there's issuers, then there's collectors. As a collector, what you need is the mobile app, and to be honest, everything else you can kind of forget about because for the most part, you wind up discovering Poh-app directly through creators. And probably what you're going to get is either something like a mint link, or you're going to get, I have like a little minting card that is somewhere here, right? That's got like a unique QR code on it. And you get your Poh-app, you mint your Poh-app by putting in your address, email, ENS. And that's it. You have your happy collection of collectibles. If you want to look at all of the Poh-apps that you have, you can go to app.poap.xyz and input your actual ENS and figure out which Poh-apps you have by going there. But you, Evan, right now are sharing the Drops portal.
Yes.
And Poh-app Drops is the product that is specifically for issuers that are trying to like create Poh-apps and distribute them to people. And particularly also like there's some element of managing that community. Right now, we are actually in the process of like redoing this platform. And that's something that's actually pretty exciting that we've been working hard on in the background for the last 3 months that at some point we can talk about if it's useful.
Sure. I just want
to make
to
a
show this to
Poh-app
people so that they could see how the process looks too.
Do it.
Go ahead.
So yeah, to make a Poh-app, super, super easy. Add an artwork, add a title, add a description, start date, end date. Basically, you fill out a little form.
Yeah, it's like a Google document. It honestly couldn't be easier. And I'll say the thing that has really impressed me is how responsive you and the team are. I imagine you must be herding cats and that there's a lot of education you had to do. I know when I was issuing Poh-apps at first, I ran into a lot of, well, try this, don't do this. We'd prefer if you did it this way. And it was always very polite and helpful. But it seemed like a lot of work that you guys put into it. And there are fantastic docs. If people get lost, there's a great community of Poh-app users so that folks can get the kinds of help they might get, with any other app.
Evan, are you in the Poh-app people chat?
No, I'm not.
That's
oh my God. So
sounding
there's a
chat,
whole
by the way.
secret group of Poh-app issuers and collectors, the ones that are really into all the Poh-app stuff. At some point, maybe I send you an invite after this because we drop a lot of alpha there, and the community on Telegram, it is really helpful, but especially the private one is just generally a very good time.
Dang, the Poh-app people chat. Double ding for that.
Double ding for that.
Okay, now seems as good a time to tell anybody that we are very fortunate also, not just to have Isabel as a guest, but she has prepared a Poh-app for us. So now is the time, if you haven't already, to go to home.poap.xyz, get the app, add it to your phone.
Make sure you get the app.
Clicks, and it'll make the minting process seamless. But Isabel, do you want to talk our folks through it?
Yeah, absolutely. So in order to mint the Poh-app, all you have to do, you get the app, you open the app. When you open the app, you're going to see, a field for inputting your email or ENS. We don't make you really authenticate it at very first. So you're going to see a screen that's like this. I'm going to do it like this. You input email, ENS, email address, or Ethereum account is the other thing that will work. It will sign you in. It will show you your collection. This is my collection. You can see I have quite a number. There's a little button called Mint on the very bottom right, and you hit that, tap the secret word, and the secret word is rise and shine, all one word.
Rise and shine. The secret word is rise and shine. And the drop is going to be live while we're here on this episode. So walk, don't run. Don't trip over yourself to go get a Poh-app. And Isabel minted it already. Good. That's fantastic.
You know, you actually might need to trip over yourself to get the Poh-app, to be honest. So
how many links do we have?
I put in a limit of 75.
Ooh,
and,
okay.
So actually, you might need to trip over yourself because
we've already got folks in the chat. Our friend Solano says, got it. We've got a number of folks who are on their way to get it. And we're going to end the show a little early so I can get out inside the mint window to get mine. But if you beat me to it, that'll be great. Isabel, who has collected the most Poh-apps? Who's like verified and not like a bot or farmer? Because I understand that's
yeah, so there are a couple of collectors. One that comes to mind, Voistingle, another maybe Leo, I think his name is, that are somewhere up in the 3,000 or 4,000 range.
Wow.
And I'm actually very impressed because these guys managed to join like every single Twitter space that is giving out Poh-apps. Like they have it somewhere on the radar. And we, I think internally still don't know exactly how they manage the system because we know these people, they're real people. We've met them. They're lovely, like wonderful human beings. But I don't know how they do it. And so that is like one of the deep mysteries.
I feel like
is how exactly.
I was just going to say, I feel like they also have all of the Pokemon gym battle badges.
Totally probable.
Yeah.
So Voistingle particularly, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's recently embarked on kind of like a second arc as a chess influencer on Abstract. Very impressive man, like just modern Renaissance man.
Really interesting. We have a friend of the show. His name is Dave, and he is one of those. He's like a groupie for Poh-apps, and he will come to your event. And he has been a longtime user of the protocol. He's been, I think, an issuer for about as long as you guys have been doing it, and has really turned a lot of people onto the protocol. But I met him that way because we were doing a show, and he said, I heard you guys were issuing a Poh-app, and he came to the show, and he was, you know, like, now I'm going to stick around for the show, and this is really great. He's a very early adopter of a lot of different kinds of technologies and has been doing it for a long time. So
we love that.
Poh-app wants to see it. They love to see it. Do you want to talk a little more about some of the other cool features that you guys have innovated? I feel like location-based redemption has been a cool thing that you've done. And if there's something coming down the pipeline, or you know, your vision for how these tokens, what I like about what you guys do and how you see this is tokens, they're intangible. Can't touch them. They're digital, but they become tangible because they are tied to a memory, to a place, something you care about. And you have worked in really interesting ways to integrate them to make them like digital experiences. So can you talk about the location-based or any other cool features that you've done or have coming to do that?
Yeah. So let me maybe start with one that you haven't mentioned, which is called Poh-wop Moments. So Poh-wop Moments is a way of kind of making the Poh-wop experience even more immersive by adding actually digital media to a particular Poh-wop. So you can add pictures, you can add videos, you can add tweets and posts and live streams. And basically it's almost, you can think of like a shared poster board or like a shared Dropbox between everyone that has the same collectible. And so it's kind of a fun way of sharing pictures. Sometimes you look back and see like the selfies you took with different people when you met them, or different photos from different events that you went to. And it's kind of like a nice way of, you know, you're looking through your collection and you can kind of bring yourself back to that original moment. Then more recently, there was a location-based thing that you're talking about, which basically allows us to mint a Poh-wop. Well, rather than using like a secret or using a QR code, you can use the location as a vector, right? So the way that we do it is when you have a mobile app, whenever you click mint, we can check where you are. And then if you're kind of within range for a particular drop, that will let you get a token. And the nice thing about this is that this kind of enabled a lot of different experiences that for us, for the very first time, have like become possible because we released this feature back in August of 2024. One of them actually that's happening right now, we have this airport Poh-wop rally. that I think we announced actually earlier today. Everyone's like super, super excited about it. And it's this idea that you can go to like one of 18 airports that I think are involved in the activation. And as long as you're on site, we can send you like a little push notification that'll mint you a collectible for coming. And like the collectibles all come as part of a set. And some people have already managed to get some.
We had a comment on TikTok talking about it, and I'm looking here at Poh-app XYZ on X. This is going through the end of the year. That's correct?
Yeah. So this is going through the end of the year so that everyone can catch it either when they're traveling to Buenos Aires or when they're traveling for the holidays, or wherever you're traveling between now and December 31st. Basically, anytime that you are at an airport, you can click scan location. And if you're very, very lucky, then the airport that you're at is one that we picked to participate in this like first inaugural airport Poh-wop rally. And you're going to get a nice little collectible for being there.
So the list is not public. You just got to kind of find and seek.
No, so the list is public. If you go to the collections homepage, you'll be able to see exactly which ones are live and which ones are not. I can actually drop you the link here. It's
beautiful. Thank you.
It's funny. I was going on Poh-app because I was like, oh, I should mint this too before it slips my mind. And I was going into my collection, and I was like, oh, let me go into my collection. And I have a Poh-app here. My first Poh-app was from episode 200 of the Rise Up Morning Show.
Amazing.
What do you know about that?
Yeah, I forget.
What do you remember about it?
What do I remember about the episode?
About episode 200 of the Rise Up Morning Show. I don't know what episode you guys are on at this point, which is why I'm asking.
What I remember is probably Evan made connections with strangers. Alex pontificated about something, and I just kind of stood there and was adding my face for some form of value. I don't know. I remember nothing now other than the Poh-app.
So, William, you're the one that is there to look pretty?
I suppose. However, I think Evan is a very pretty looking man.
Well, I
think Alex, I think he does need to drop his hair routine, just like I drop my skincare routine.
Yeah, you don't know this, but it's a ritual on Rise Up for Will to give us skincare tips, and he is only like the secondhand guy. Don't let me, short you, Will, because you're.
No, I am the secondhand guy because the Rise Up Morning Show's unofficial chief skincare officer (CSCO) is my girlfriend Violet, who is the master skincare. Master, I guess. Yeah.
The master skincare master.
The master skincare master. And she's definitely hearing myself, and I definitely thought I heard her giggling outside.
It's not sponsored by La Roche-Posay, but it should be.
But it should be, or Paula's Choice BCAA chemical exfoliant, which I used last night, really closed up my pores before I got to take my new driver's license picture today.
Wonderful.
So,
yeah. And I see, Isabel, that you've got some curls like I do. Do you do the curly girl method?
So no, I don't do the curly girl method. What I have recently learned is that if you, rather than like scrunching it, if you kind of do this, somehow it actually makes it land better. So to be honest, like, the wavy hair thing has been, it really is quite a journey. Evan, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Like before you know what to do with your hair, it's just a mess and like an unmanageable mess. And it doesn't look right no matter what you do with it. And I think it's only like within the last maybe year and a half that I finally learned what you are supposed to do with this texture of hair such that it all of a sudden just works. And I don't know how I could ever go back. I don't think I can. I wish I had learned this earlier in life, but that's okay. We live and we learn, and that's what matters.
I too recently have gone on a hair journey where I finally learned that I could actually grow a real mustache. For the longest time, I was just like, I just thought I was cursed with a Timothée Chalamet mustache. and then it just needed time. Some of us, we just need a little bit of time. And maybe you too can have the mustache that you've always wanted or the beard you've always wanted. Just give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, you remember, you didn't get this advice from me.
Rada points out that I got distracted. He says, can we please get the link? Yes, the link is a long one. I will put it in the show notes. And if you want it, you're going to have to go catch the recording of the Rise Up show or jump into the community. It's collections.poap.xyz/select. Okay, you see what I'm saying? It's a long link, but we will have it below.
It's Collections Airport Poh-wop Rally. I think if you miss the last numbers at the end, it's just going to take you to the same page.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Nice.
Alex said in the comments that Poh-app is easily one of his all-time favorite projects, and it's one of his favorite ways to onboard someone. Meaning,
Alex, very high honors. I'm so sad that you're not here. I'm realizing that I've like somehow missed the Poh-app bit of the show.
Oh no, we're Poh-app fans too. Listen,
No,
I'm the guy who goes through and curates them. We had a community in Discord for a while. Our community lives on a platform called Circle now because we find it to be a little safer. But in our Discord for a while, we had a friend who built a bot that would take mint links, and then you could issue them through that to verified people.
Yeah. So
There's lots of
there's
stuff.
I think if I'm not mistaken, Guild is still doing something kind of in that same vein. That there's always some problems with like making sure the verification doesn't either it's not too permissive and it's also not too restrictive, right? Because you still need to get the real humans. But it's good that you guys kind of managed to get that into a good place.
I also, since Alex isn't here to tell you, I have to tell you a story about Alex and his plan for a future Poh-app. Alex, he is a veteran. He was a Coast Guard member, and like many young of the armed forces, he was courted by USAA and made to feel special for having a bank for the military. And one of his points of disillusionment with our system that led him to crypto was having a not insignificant amount of money in his account and getting an interest payment for a whopping, are you ready for it? 17 cents. And so to commemorate that, and as part of his Poh-app onboarding, crypto onboarding experience, he tells this story often, and he has said, you know what? I'm finally going to do it. I am finally going to make a 17-cent Poh-app. And today on the morning show, he told the story because we were anticipating your arrival tonight. And so I whipped this up with my friend ChatGPT. I made the official
very, very nice
17-cent commemorative coin, and I'm hoping that it will appear on a Poh-app. And Alex's plan, he said, is he's going to
absolutely die on this one.
This is amazing.
He'll issue the Poh-app, and then he will airdrop all the holders 17 cents of money, just so they can get a little dividend, and it will be wonderful.
I am a big fan of this.
And there he is.
Good joke.
There he is.
Yeah. So
He's
Alex, we love you.
Hi, Alex. We hear your disembodied voice coming from the great beyond.
I will absolutely die on this hill.
Yes, I also really like that Alex is listening to this, and I like to imagine he's on like a romantic birthday dinner, and he just has like one sneaky earbud in that's like flesh tone color, just hoping he gets away.
Isabel, we had a question from the comments. Rada asks, when can we get Poh-app in Canada? It's a global thing. My understanding.
You can already get Poh-app in Canada.
So double check your internet connection and your URL and walk on over to Poh-app, POAP.xyz, and give it another try. You know, turn it off and turn it back on again. And let me remind you.
So I'm wondering what Rada means. I'm wondering if he was looking for the secret word or something like that.
Which seems like a good time to remind you that if you are listening, you can claim a special Poh-app for being here tonight. The secret word is rise and shine. All one word, no spaces. Put it in your app, and you, yes, you can claim your very own Poh-app, commemorating this moment.
Now, can I claim that right now on the desktop? Do I need to do it in the app?
No, so this is the secrets thing is only on the app.
Only on the app. Okay.
And there's a reason for that. It's because if you let it happen via desktop, it's a little too easy to brute force in a way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A good question here from Christina, who asks, so if I connect my wallet, then does the Poh-app go there? Would you iterate for Christina? Isabel?
I'm sorry?
I wasn't going to steal.
So it absolutely does. If you connect your wallet, the Poh-app goes there, and then you also actually get to unlock a couple of different features, tagging, notifications, and there's some kind of things that we only let you do if you have your wallet properly connected versus like doing a soft connection of just entering your email.
I do like, though, and that's why it's so easy to onboard people, that you can collect them, reserve them with an email address. You can share the links, you can get somebody onboarded to Poh-app, and then they can migrate their Poh-apps on chain at another time. Once
absolutely. For us, it's always been very important that the app is somehow able to meet people exactly where they are in their Web3 journey, that it doesn't like force you straight into the deep end of getting you a wallet that you're not prepared to do anything with. And, on the other hand, also that whenever you are finally ready to kind of take that first step into Web3 and self-custody and kind of all those things, we're providing you a path that feels safe and comfortable to get there. There's a little email that you'll get from us that tells you that if you want to create a wallet, you can do it here, and we help you set up like an ENS subdomain so that you have a human readable name. You can mint your Poh-ops all at once. It's actually a pretty sweet process.
Yeah, I just love it.
Isabel, do you have a favorite, and maybe favorite's not the right word, do you have a Poh-app that you care the most about that's in your collection? Or maybe you have a top 3 or top 5. I know you have a lot. But is there like one or two that really stick out?
It does seem to rotate every once in a while. That like we've done so many great drops, and there's so many nice drops that seem to happen on like a week to week basis that it's pretty hard to like figure out one like all-time favorite. That being said, one recent one was for the 4-year anniversary of Poh-wop Inc. There was the Back to the Memories. We did like a little campaign for everyone to remember their best times that they had with Poh-wop, and we gave you a Poh-wop for being here for 4 years of Poh-wop. And so that was like actually, frankly, quite a big one, because I think it also happened right around the time of the year that I first joined the company. So it was like, a little bit of a full circle moment, and I always love those. Good find. Very nice.
Thank you. For people in podcast land,
Johnny on the spot.
Yeah. And the artist, something I think that's cool about this is that the artists are credited. Mm-hmm. Who is House of Hands or Hans?
House of Hans. Hans is our creative director. Wow. And he's done so if you click on that, let's see if it takes you where I think it's going to take you, because I think it's going to. So it's going to take you to all of the drops that Hans has done. He's the one that does a lot of like Patricio's Poh-wop artwork. And also sometimes he does mine. But he's honestly one of the most talented illustrators, possibly the most talented illustrator that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting in person. And he has quite the collection to his name. But there are other like pretty fantastic Poh-wop artists that are out there as well that you can browse on the collections platform if you're interested.
I found the one that I think most crypto folks and investors are feeling right now, which is just the skeleton in the fire. This is fine meme. Yeah.
And that's commemorating meeting Hans himself. That's very cool.
Hans himself during the month of ETH Denver, which is maybe like
we were there
important
for it.
Footnote there. So one thing about everything Poh-wop is I think in general, from the outside looking in, it's hard to perceive like exactly how much work, particularly on the side of creative and design, goes into making it be the fun experience that we've all come to know and love, particularly around like big crypto festival weeks.
I do say that's the best time, because you get a lot more experience with a particular person. I issued a couple of different Poh-apps for conferences, and I loved getting to go around and meet people and connect with them. And I really do find that the memory is made firmer, more special when I have something like that to just look back on. It is really nice. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I feel like you were maybe going to tell us some more of your favorites, and I'd be curious to know, just from a distribution perspective, if there are any particular challenges, like if there's anything we can help you with. Do you want people to explore with the protocol? I remember I had a friend who was issuing a Poh-app for an activism campaign he was doing to raise awareness about something that Mexi was doing. This is, of course, our friend and partner.
White Whale.
The White Whale.
Yeah.
And he was like, I need to mint a couple thousand Poh-apps. And I was like, well, I don't know, man. And
I mean, we minted them eventually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They eventually all did land.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I know someone. Let me send a message. And I was like telegramming Isabel. And I was like, hey, I am so sorry to bug you with this. And you were super responsive and helpful. But like I said, it's a lot of, probably chasing cats and trying to make the drop successful and memorable for people. Is there something that people listening can do to support that if they're just collectors and issuers as the protocol develops?
So I think anytime that issuers want to use POAP for something that is worthy of a POAP, something like genuinely memorable, that is supporting the protocol, by all means. I think it's kind of helping it get even more legitimacy than it's already gotten. And it also is a way of helping us onboard collectors, right? For POAP, like a lot of the direct relationships we have, sometimes it's with collectors, but most often it tends to be with issuers. And then it's not until someone has gotten like a number of POAPs that they kind of start to understand, oh, it's actually like, this is a product that has a team behind it. And at that point, they can become more so a member of the POAP community. But yeah, generally, anytime that if there's someone listening that is very into running their own events and interested in issuing collectibles for those events, we want you to use POAP to remember your events. We want you to use POAP to help your community remember the important things that happen to them, make connections with one another, and kind of help give people their own time and place and space.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to. My head just went here immediately. It's the first thing I love my brain sometimes, where I was like, okay, the next crypto conference we go to, we get people to go to a Rise Up event. Everyone there gets a POAP for going to the Rise Up event. But then afterwards, there is a scavenger hunt that will take 24 hours to complete across the entire potential city or all areas where crypto events are happening, like in ETH Denver. And if you're able to do it, you get a POAP at the end. And then a pizza party is hosted by Pizza DAO. We'll get another pizza-related POAP, and also the winners of the scavenger hunt are given a unique,
they're given their
very
honorifics.
Illustrious POAP. Yeah, exactly. They're given their honorifics.
So I think the scavenger hunt concept, it is super fun. We've done it at this point so many times, and different members of the community have kind of taken their own and made their own spin on it. I think it's a great way of like getting people to, on the one hand, connect with one another. On the other hand, explore a little bit of like the places that they tend to go. And then, finally also, get some POAPs, get some exercise, and really take the time to like remember the moment,
Mm-hmm. And shout out to Pizza DAO, because they have issued a lot of.
Oh, they have issued quite a number of POAPs.
I would imagine they would. Pizza POAP, it just works. It makes sense.
Somehow, I think it just makes sense. I really admire what they do in the sense of being like a very accessible way for people to learn more about crypto. And I think in that we sort of have some overlap in mission, in vision, in spirit, if you will. And so we always appreciate supporting them. They're good people.
On that same topic, Isabel, I'd be curious, what are some other organizations in the crypto space where you're like, hey, like ethos-wise, like we're brothers and sisters, really like and appreciate those groups?
Yeah, so I think a lot of, especially like the ETH Global, a lot of the DevConnect, DevCon, ETHCC, we've worked with a lot of those organizations like since the very, very, very early years. And I think in a lot of ways, they've kind of seen us mature into what we are today. And likewise, we've seen them change so much over time. That it really is lovely. There are a lot of others, but I think those are the ones that I kind of like, when you ask me, the POAPs that I really appreciate seeing over and over and over again, it tends to be those ones that are like, particularly for, I think a lot of it too tends to be that they issue POAPs a lot to like either hackers or people that are trying to get from being like a user of crypto products to being part of the crypto community for the very first time, right? And so they're kind of trying to make that jump. And we appreciate that we get to partner with the orgs to help people land in crypto in a way that feels friendly.
That's amazing. I really want to encourage people. This is something I've observed, is that the ETH community, the community around projects on the network generally, is very oriented towards like the movement, the community, the network. We recently got accepted into Octan's Epoch 9 creator cohort.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Octan has done a lot of good POAPs.
I don't doubt it at all.
I'm waiting for the
Epoch 9 Poh-wop. I know they're going to make one, and I am waiting for it. And I have loved all of the just support, the camaraderie, what could be a very competitive process, right? Campaigning for something is not felt competitive at all. Everybody in the different group chats and the community that they cultivate is so supportive. They amplify each other's messages. And I just feel like there are lots of those little pockets all throughout Ethereum. And it's sort of this this movement that is growing to, it's global. The only thing missing is you kind of vibe.
Yeah. I think it's something that probably will tend to ring true about a lot of like different subscale networks. The thing is that you have to remember Ethereum still hasn't won. You know, it's still kind of at that point of only now are we starting to see regulation finally get to a point, and the technology get to a point, mainstream acceptance get to a point that now you can finally start adopt like onboarding whatever, that early majority, right? That the group of people that isn't just the people that are curious about the thing, but can actually see it being used for real day-to-day use cases. And so it hasn't really gotten to being a zero-sum game yet. There's quite a lot of land that is, we get a lot more out of working with one another versus competing over the same slice of the pie. And I think that also like is one of the very special things about being part of communities, especially like very early on, is that you do get to build these bonds that I think last a very long time before everything gets into the flat line,
Yeah. That's kind of the questions that we get asked a lot. I will say that the benefit of being online is all the social algorithms that our show lives on, they make it really easy to discover. And something I'm really proud of is that we've been able to help a lot of people who are curious or concerned or skeptical about crypto. They can encounter it in a way that they understand it, maybe for the first time, and feel like they can trust it, and then are able to go deeper. And I love that we have so many relationships with friends and colleagues who work here, so that we can also give the kind of like depth and nuance and, deeper experience that folks can travel down a whole path on. And I'm just curious, we are about at that time where we got to start giving final thoughts, but I'd love to know where you see Poh-app going in the future and where you see the crypto space going in the future. That could be, in the next year, I feel like there's a lot of stuff happening, but I'd be curious to know what that vision of the world looks like if Ethereum is, scaled, if crypto is scaled, and what you see for people. Give us something inspiring.
Yeah. So I think it's a really interesting question. We were talking about this with a bunch of other fairly early Ethereum people a little while ago, maybe a couple of weeks. And I think one of the things that we're seeing is that increasingly, like, as the institutions start playing more and more in the space, there's a real risk that Ethereum winds up becoming, maybe the second choice or kind of the network that exists alongside the Stripe, Arc, Circle, whatever L1 that people wind up using mostly for institutional purposes. Yeah. And I think that it would be such a tragedy if that were to happen. There's a sense in which having a decentralized base layer is something that can help all of us transact fairly, build better things, build products that just were not possible in the old system. And I think it's very, very important that Ethereum doesn't lose that. And I think as far as Poh-wop goes, what we need to do is at one point or another become the default way that humans preserve their history, right? And probably that needs to start with letting individuals preserve the things that matter, that were important to them. And then from there, it becomes a lot easier to get bigger and bigger players to join you, rather than having to convince them one at a time that this is the way that things are going to be done in the future.
Can you talk a little about that preservation? I remember seeing a video that was really helpful to me in teaching people what crypto can do. We talk a lot about how crypto will be so much more than currency, the way your phone does more than calls. And it was a historian who contributed to an archive about the Civil War. And this archive was managed by some nonprofit foundation. A few people had control over it. And it was like a micro Wikipedia. One day he went to the website and it was down and a lot of the records were lost. And he was just expressing concern that this sort of accident could happen, that somebody could manipulate those records if they had that kind of powerful control. And now more than ever in the advanced age of AI, where your senses can no longer distinguish between what's
You're at a point where you don't know what's real. You don't know what actually happened. You don't know what you can trust, right?
Yeah.
So I actually think this is very, very important. One of the big things that we think about when we think about like the big why of Poh-wop is exactly like preservation of memories, preservation of history, right? It's a protocol for humans to remember what they did, where they did it, who they did it with, but also at some level like to have a way of having like a source of truth for what actually happened, right? Who can you ask about what actually happened? Who can you ask about getting the context behind something? And I think if you look at history as like this is the thing that we're all grounded in. It's how we understand our past, which is what helps us understand our present, which is what shapes our future. To have a way of storing, accessing, and remembering, representing history that is accessible to everyone, that is censorship resistant, that anyone can use, it provides tools for people to get beyond, like the one guy that can dedicate his whole life to writing the history of the Civil War. Now it's something that can be recorded bottoms up, grounds up, and by the people that are part of writing the stories that they're writing. And not everything is going to be gold, but there are things that we've recorded that, I look at this and I'm like, this is historic. Like, this is an important part in the history of Ethereum, the different communities that make it up, that tells us something about when meaningful things have changed directions, when meaningful milestones were accomplished. And I think that's important, being able to understand who was part of it, who can you talk to about that. It's an invaluable resource that I truly think can change the way that society shapes itself.
Dang. Beautiful thoughts. Beautiful thoughts. Now, it's about that time when Isabel and Will have to ride their dogs and ponies, their cats and cows into the sunset, into the sunrise, wherever you are, whenever you listen, kind of thing. So before they get out of here, I'm going to let them give a final thought. But I do want you to be sure to follow Poh-app and Isabel. The best places to do that are the links in the description below, or if you're listening live, you can write down home.poapp.xyz, get the app, claim the Poh-app, head to Poh-app XYZ on X, and of course, if you want to keep up with Isabel, you can find her on X too. And I'm going to screen share this profile so they can see exactly who you are. But IZGNZLZ. That's the handle.
That's me.
For, and that's her. She's got the hair on full display. Isabel, would you like to give the secret word one final time? And then give us a final thought or a last ask for our audience before you head out today?
Yeah, absolutely. The secret word is rise and shine. You click mint and select secret word and enter it. It's all one word. And final thought, Evan, it's been a real pleasure being here with you all today. For anyone that's interested in following what we're doing, follow us on Twitter, come to the Poh-wop Telegram, read Poh-wop news, make a Poh-wop for your next small gathering of people that you want to onboard to the protocol. We're here to help, ask us questions. And yeah, it's been lovely catching up. Thrilled to be here. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, monsters and machines, Isabel Gonzalez. We'll see you on Chain, and I will see you at DevConnect.
You will see me very soon, Evan.
Cool. Bye for now, my friend.
Take care.
See you, Isabel.
Will, what about you? I know you got to go. Do you have a minute, though, to give folks a final thought? I have seen several times in the chat, is altcoin season over? Are we cooked? Is it ever coming back? And before you tell me that, man, isn't Isabel great?
Yeah, she's wonderful. She's lovely.
Yeah, she is awesome. I had the pleasure of sharing pizza with her in ETH Denver and a couple of other times here and there around the chain. I recommend it.
Also, she's a very, very good speaker. As she was going, fantastic, just thoughts and opinions about the space that we don't talk about a lot. Or that we talk about it, but in the space, it's usually just about like, hey, money and appreciation, as opposed to like what the blockchain in crypto and Ethereum's kind of main purpose actually is. But also I was listening to her and I was like, I haven't heard a single or and I was like, damn, I've been trying to remove them from me. I was like, gosh, she's a good speaker. But
She's a good speaker.
No, I mean, like, final thoughts before I have to head out is funny. I saw a comment from Solomon because Will has to spend his time doing his nightly ritual for his skincare. I wish. I have to work tonight more.
Solomon also said that he had it on good authority you were going to get Alex and I red light masks.
You guys can buy your own.
Are they expensive? I imagine they would be very expensive.
They're a little bit over 300.
It's not as bad as I thought.
No, but I mean, like, still, that's fairly expensive. I'd say $300 is an expensive purchase.
Oh, yeah, but I thought it was going to be like for just 3 easy payments of $5.99 or
$5.99. No. No, I'm sure you can find a promo code and put it in the TikTok shop or something.
Not sponsored, but it could be.
Oh, I would totally sponsor that. We'd just do one like half-hour special where we just have like the mask on and it's just this red light.
Yeah, with the
I would love
TikTok
that.
shop link.
In fact,
Okay.
I've been bad with my red light mask recently.
Final
Okay,
thoughts. Tell me, what are you thinking about crypto?
Final thoughts. Is everything over? I mean, maybe for a little bit, but like, it'll come back. You know, it always comes back. Just what matter? It's just a question of whether or not the coins you've invested in are going to come back. Have you invested in a whole bunch of meme coins that are no longer in, flavor, or have you been investing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and things that have long-term standing? Are you prepared to potentially have to wait for an additional 2 weeks of selling? What does that scenario look like for you? Are you too overexposed to the market? These are good questions to ask, right? Not trying to scare anybody, but things can be. It always feels like things are worse for far longer than things are good, and I'm sure that's a psychological trick. But I'd have to go back and look at the charts, but it certainly feels that way. And so, like, the emotional taxing of it is tough. So just make sure you haven't overexposed yourself to the market. If you have, I mean, sell a little bit just in case things do get worse before you put yourself into like a really bad financial situation. Then take it as a lesson for how to manage your risk in your portfolios moving forward. For me, I mentally am prepared for the market to turn around when I wake up in the morning, and I am mentally prepared and financially and fiscally prepared for the market to continue to dip and fall further. And what I will be doing is I will be dollar cost averaging into the long-term plays I have conviction in. And I would suggest people to do the same. And if you don't want to dollar cost average and just like wait a little bit, like I buy a little bit every day. If you want to buy once a week or once every 2 weeks, once a month or something, you want to wait until you see like a Trump tweet about the China trade war, de-escalating, go for it. Just whatever it is, create that plan for yourself and make sure you stick to that plan and don't let your emotions kind of knock you off track once you have that set. So that's all I'd have to say. Yeah. In the meantime, November 1st is the date to keep in mind, because that is the date where the 100% tariffs against China go into play. And I'm personally expecting, we're seeing a lot of kind of bearish statements come out of China and also the United States right now in regards to their trade war, but I think it's all a lot of bluster. And then I think you'll see something positive happen as we get closer to November 1st, personally. And then I'll be curious to get Alex's take on the government shutdown, because it looks like the government shutdown is going to continue for quite some time. So I won't be on the show tomorrow morning, unfortunately, but I'll have to ask him next time.
Well, I happen to know his number. I know his address. I know his full legal name. And so I'm sure we could get that answer and also have a lot of fun.
Ooh, the only thing actually, I don't have his new address, nor do I know his full legal name. So, hey, you got me.
I have had to enter both of your addresses so many times. I had to use your full legal name when I recompensated your invoice. I am sick of looking at your guys' addresses. I am so grateful to our partner of the show, the White Whale, who said, hey, I would like to sponsor you so that you can upgrade your look and feel. And doesn't it look and feel good? But also, if I have to buy one more little light on Amazon, I'm going to die on this hill. Unfortunately, I think we're almost done.
We'll make a Poh-app for it.
We'll make a Poh-app for it. And yet, Alex says you still got my zip code wrong, you wiener. Guess that's a good one for me. Do you want to give last minute points before you get out of here? And
last minute points. Let's see. Point to Isabel for being great.
Got it.
Point to Evan's hair looking great.
Thank you.
And a point to the Rise Up Morning Show's Chief Skincare Officer, Violet Kane.
Yes. Beautiful. William Watson, ladies and gentlemen, he's your friend and he's mine, and we will see you in the community. Well, thanks for being here, man.
See you guys. I get to go work now. Okay, bye. Love you all. Gwumps for work. Gwumps for work.
And with that, I'm going to stick around and answer your final questions. I do want to remind you that if you haven't claimed it yet, tonight's Poh-app is available and waiting for you inside the Poh-app app. You can get it at home.poh-app.xyz. In a few short steps, yes, you can claim your very own Rise Up and Poh-app co-branded precious digital collectible. The secret word is rise and shine. And if you're listening on the podcast and you're feeling like, man, this is a ripoff, the claim window ended. Did you know that we're live every single week, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 12 to 2 p.m. UTC for all my party animals out there in the East. And, of course, for the Rise Up Morning Show, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m., 12 p.m. UTC. At 7 a.m. Central Standard Time to answer your crypto questions, which is exactly what I'm here to do while we wrap this thing and ride our dogs and ponies, our cats and cows. So if you've got a question, let me know. If you have a hot take, a suggestion, a prediction, a word of wisdom, that would be good too. Alex, who is not here, said about his red light, what he does is he tapes a red flashlight to his headboard, saved a bundle, and it works wonders. So, Alex, I'm proud of you. I thought it might be helpful to answer some of the lingering questions I've had about the crash Friday. Let me know if you're listening live, if that sounds like a good place to go. The specific questions I'm hearing are related to liquidity, related to prices. People are asking if only leverage was applied to Bitcoin and ETH and Sol, or only a couple tokens depegged on Binance, then why is every crypto token going down? And a lot of people are also asking, I had limit orders set for prices above where prices settled. They never filled. And then I had other limit orders to automatically buy cryptocurrency on the way back up, and those didn't fill either. So if that would be something helpful for you and you're listening live, let me know. Alex says, ask Christina. I genuinely have a red light magnetized to my headboard. Quumping you for that, Alex, because that sounds like a personal problem. But Christina, I'm going to give you 5 more points. She is running away with this thing as it should be. Okay. Some folks, like Bearded, got lucky with their limit orders. He says, I got 4 out of 6 filled. Huh. Interesting. And let's see. Oh my gosh, Alex, you just got to stop. Come back on the show sometime. Let me take a quick catch up. Yes, we will prep. We will do a challenge. Thoughts on mining sats in the Canaan Avalon Q. I am not familiar with the Canaan Avalon Q. Is that a Bitcoin mining rig oriented towards stacking Satoshis? Let me know. Eamon says, thank you once again for your time and your knowledge. Love your live show. Eamon, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. Let's get into it. I wish I had visual aids for this one, but for once the people in podcast land are, oh my gosh, privileged. You are not going to believe this. I just reached for my cup of water, my Rise Up Morning Show mug here. I happened to look down into it for the first time, and there is a fly who is almost certainly dead, if not by drowning by some other means, who's just presumably been at the bottom of my cup this whole time. I am a little bit putrefied to report that I've had 2 cups of this water. And now I'm thinking to myself, do I forego the water? I've got a perfectly good vessel right here. But this is the official mug of the official show of the Financial Revolution. So I feel like I got to do it. I've been doing it this whole time. If I don't show up on the show tomorrow because I've got dysentery, now you know why. So
correct.
Let's talk about liquidity. At the center of all these questions that you have about what happened Friday is liquidity. I grabbed my cup because I wish I had a visual aid, but I want you to imagine for me that the places you buy and sell crypto, like Binance or Coinbase or Kraken or your favorite decentralized exchange, they are oases in a desert full of pools. And for this analogy, though we're talking about literal pools of water, I want you to think of them as pools of money. Liquidity pools, we call them in finance and in crypto specifically. They are not pools at all. They don't actually hold anything, but they are a sort of container for information. In this case, information that represents money. They are built of computer code. Binance builds them. Uniswap builds them. People in open source protocols contribute to them together. And what they do is they facilitate the reassignment of your digital assets. For example, a liquidity pool on Binance might facilitate the function of reassigning your Bitcoin to the pool so it can reassign you Ethereum tokens. Because remember, your tokens, they don't enter and leave the pool. They don't physically exist. They only exist on the record of the blockchain. But for the purpose of our analogy, people come to the Binance Oasis and they come to the Bitcoin pool to buy and sell Bitcoin. And that looks like pouring water in or dipping in your cup to take water out. Some people brought a cup. Some people brought a spoon. Some people are bringing a bucket or a 55-gallon barrel to try and get rid of or acquire Bitcoin and other crypto assets. Binance is in the business of filling these orders seamlessly, and it's in their best interest to maintain a very deep pool, because a business like Binance, a business like Coinbase, a business like Uniswap, it gets in the way of their business if somebody comes by with a cup and there's not enough water to take out. It gets in the way of their business if somebody comes by with a dump truck and just unloads it in the pool and creates a tsunami and splashes everybody. It gets in the way of their business if this pool is out of balance, if it's too volatile. They try to keep it steady and smooth. And they do this by providing liquidity, money, in the form of Bitcoin or ETH or XRP or whatever token you're trading in and out of, okay? However, they don't put up all this money themselves. As you might imagine, even for a very profitable company like Binance, it would be risky and expensive to have a big pool of liquidity for every cryptocurrency on their platform. They're not just going to park $1 million of Aptos tokens and $1 million of Bitcoin and $1 million of Harry Potter, Sonic, Obama, Inu. They can't afford to do that. That's risky for them. So what they've done is they've come up with a business model where they ask these people called market makers to provide their liquidity. They've made it easy for them to connect to these pools, sort of like cups with hoses or fire trucks with hoses. And they share a portion of their fees, Binance does, the fees they charge you to use their service. And they incentivize these liquidity providers with that fee to give some of their liquidity to the pool, or to keep the pool balanced by taking some off. You might think, like a traditional market, that every time you want to buy something, the market has to match you with somebody who's a seller. But no, what market makers do is they make it easy for anybody to come to the pool. And if they want to buy, there's water that they can dip their cup in and take Bitcoin away. And if they want to sell, then they can dump it into the pool and the market maker can suck that liquidity up so that the pool stays balanced. Remember, we're trying to keep the pool balanced. And on Friday, what happened is when Donald Trump tweeted about the tariffs, it was like a great big rain cloud settled over the oasis. And rain started falling into the pool. People came by with their cups, with their buckets to try and dump water into these pools to get rid of tokens that were falling in price. This is because crypto is a risky asset. People see that it is volatile, and when there's big news like that, they don't want to hold it. So the market makers were trying to keep the pool balanced, and their hoses, like any fire hose or garden hose or whatever, has a limited capacity. And so they are siphoning water, or in this case, crypto buy orders and sell orders mostly, into their tank. And their tank also has a limited capacity. And there's another problem I forgot to tell you about called leverage. This is when someone comes to the Binance Oasis with a cup full of water and says, I will give you my cup of water in exchange for a bucket of water that I can jump in the pool to speculate on the price in the future. And if the price goes against me, if it moves the other direction, you can get rid of my cup of water, okay? We call this getting liquidated. They take your liquidity and then they absorb the loss. So these people amplify the effects of liquidity on the pool. Instead of people with little cups dumping in, now they're dumping buckets or taking buckets out. And this makes the market maker's job even harder. Now it's raining in the oasis. People are dumping water into this pool. And liquidity providers, the market makers, They've got their tanks on the sidelines and their hoses are at full capacity trying to get this stuff out. But in order to get liquidity out, they're actually buying orders up. When people are selling, they are on the other side buying. And though they study the crypto market, you know, they're pretty savvy. They know how these things work and they've got plenty of money. Many of them do this for many tokens on many exchanges. And as you might imagine, they may not have enough tanks, in this case, enough money to absorb all the dumping people are doing. The leverage dumps are amplifying this. They're calling in their fire trucks and everybody is gathering around these pools. And this is why everything falls in price at once. Bitcoin is a very important asset. It's a very important pool at the Binance Oasis and every other Oasis. And it is an asset that people trade a lot of. So is ETH, so is Sol. On platforms like Hyperliquid, these are prominent assets that people like to trade. And so unlike Harry Potter, Sonic, Obama, Inu, or Avalanche, or XRP, I don't know, other minor assets, the smaller they are, the less important it is for the liquidity providers to have their tanks at those pools. So what do? They sell those assets. They dump those into the pool so they can get their tanks over to the Bitcoin pool, over to the Binance pool, over to the place where everybody is, where it's raining. And then, because the prices are going down, they are also trying to get rid of this liquidity. As their tanks are filling up, they're trying to dump it off somewhere else. And they can't dump it fast enough. Why are they dumping it? Because it is their business to have valuable dollars. They need to be able to buy and sell stuff. And if the value of their goods that they provide these services with is evaporating, they're not going to be able to do their job tomorrow. They're not just worried about today. They're worried about tomorrow, their future customers. And as prices are falling, as exchanges are stalling, some of these people's tanks are breaking. Their tanks are at capacity, or at the bottom, their tanks are empty. The market makers themselves get liquidated. So what you have is at the Oasis, this crowd is there. And you might have had a limit order in, been standing in line with your cup of water to dump it out or fill it up, but somebody pushes past you. And it's not because they're cheating you. It's not because things are unfair. It's because they've already got their hose in the water. They're already plugged in. Their order was in line ahead of yours. And it's also because exchanges have something called auto deleveraging, where as it starts to rain like this, or as it starts to experience drought while it's raining, at the same time, they are taking all this collateral from all these people they know will be liquidated in the future, those cups of water. And they're saying, sorry, we know you had an order in, but we're closing it. We cannot deal with this. The pool, the Oasis is closed. And then as prices start to change direction, the market makers' tanks are broken. They don't have enough liquidity to fill your buy orders on the other side. There's nothing in the tank that they can put back in the pool. And so people lose money on the way down. People lose money on the way up. Now, trades are double-sided. For everybody that loses money, somebody is making money. The question arose earlier in the chat, what about that $200 million short? There was one particular whale who opened an account on Hyperliquid, the popular decentralized exchange, just ahead of Donald Trump's tweet. And they took out a short position. This means that they are dumping water into the pool in the future for those market makers to absorb. And they are doing it with a borrowed bucket of water. They put up, I think, 92,000 ETH. Somebody get me a fact check on that, please. Fact check yourself, brother. So that they could use leverage, borrowed money, to make an even bigger trade. And when the price of ETH fell, they cashed out to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. I think it was $492 million. Lots of speculation, like Solano says in the comments, is that this could be an insider, like the name I see floated around most is Barron Trump. It's so funny because I don't hear much from Barron publicly, but I hear a lot about him. He seems to be talked about a lot behind the scenes, and he could be a crypto genius. I know that if I was in the White House, there would be a strong temptation. Being who I am, don't think I would do it, but there would be constant and strong temptation to be saying, Dad, are you tweeting today? We'll tell you. And so on. Insider trading happens all the time, and crypto makes it difficult to track and trace these people's identities until after the money has been moved. It's easy to track and trace what happens, but it's not always easy to tie it to somebody's offline life. And people who are engaged in one kind of crime like insider trading tend to be involved in other kinds of crime, perhaps money laundering, perhaps identity theft. This is all, though, I want to be clear, total speculation, okay? What I want you to remember is that everything in markets is about liquidity. The structures we have right now for facilitating trades are those pools curated by people like Binance, are those market makers like Wintermute who have tanks full of $15 billion and are providing liquidity at oases all over the desert, but which aren't equipped to provide liquidity when there is a drought, a monsoon simultaneously, and $20 billion of liquidity floods the system. This is something that we will be dealing with the fallout for a long time. When FTX crashed, when Luna crashed, it didn't happen this quickly, this instantaneously. It was like waking up every day to another headline. Oh my gosh, did you see? Carolyn said this. Sam Bankman-Fried said this. Alameda's gone under. Three Arrows has gone under. And it felt like days and weeks. The Luna thing, it was quicker than that, but we were dealing with the fallout for months. And so it's important to, as we unpack this, deal with what we know, look to what we can know, and think about how we're going to build the future. It is important for exchanges to have less opaque rules about how they auto deleverage accounts, about how market makers function. And they probably won't be transparent with those things. So we must rely on decentralized exchanges that function well and smart contract solutions that functioned well, but caused a lot of people problems because ultimately many people lost money. It's important for us to standardize those things as an industry. It's difficult to predict how they will work because we haven't dealt with something like this before. But it's something that all of us can be more well-informed about as we work together to build the future. And I love this comment that we will build the future one plank length at a time. So let me know where I lost you with that explanation. If you're John Moe, let me welcome you to the talk show and say thank you so much for being here, my friend. But please keep it courteous in the chat or we'll have to say goodbye to you for now. What liquidity company is best for a new utility coin? That's a great question. There are many market makers, and mostly think about the crypto space like a dartboard, okay? People like our guest Isabel are close to the center. They've been around the crypto community for a long time. They've been working at crypto companies, and they know each other. Someone like Vitalik may not get along with someone like Charles Hoskinson. I don't know. I hear they've had beef. I don't think they're mean to each other. But because they've been around a long time, when they're in a room at a crypto conference, they look at each other and they say, like, we got some history here. We trust each other. So the best market makers are the people who have the best relationships and the deepest liquidity. Often they were OGs in the space who started doing business as a market maker with someone they know who started doing business as an exchange. The biggest market maker in our space, I believe, is Wintermute, spelled like the season and then M-U-T-E. And they make markets for lots of tokens. And there are companies who do this different ways. Some people say market makers are predatory, and every market needs a maker. If you are launching a new token, you are trying to find someone to be your market maker so that when you go to Binance and when you go to Kraken and when you go to Coinbase, you can say, hey guys, we have this new token. Millions of people trade it. That's a feather in your cap. They want to hear that because they're not going to make any money if people aren't trading your token. They aren't going to earn any fees on it. So they need to know a lot of people are trading your token. And they're either going to say, well, give us some of the supply and we'll, probably sell some of it or loan some of it to put up some money ourselves as liquidity. Or have you got a market maker? And a lot of the market makers, what they do is they either buy a lot of the tokens at a discount and then loan them to the market to generate fees, or they might be given tokens on a vesting schedule so that they are owned by the market maker, but that they can't just sell them all right away. And there's still a lot of stuff to do in our space to make this like better, safer, clearer for everyone. But Wintermute is probably like the golden standard in terms of most well-known, been doing it a long time, has a lot of history if you want to do your homework and read up on it. Both sides are crooks says, which crypto has the most utility in your opinion? This is a tough question to answer. I am going to say Bitcoin is used by the most people, is trusted by the most people, and has the greatest function that actually impacts the world in a meaningful way. After that, I would say stablecoins will probably, if they aren't close to eclipsing it, may eclipse it in terms of how many people use them and rely on them to do something real. I think in the future, it will be particular types of non-fungible tokens like POAPs that we use for something like our identity, to prove that we own a house, that we are a citizen of a country or a city, or that we did a thing that is valuable and meaningful to us. Tokens are like words. They are like language. They are a whole new medium that is infinitely programmable, most of the uses for which have yet to be invented. But understanding it that way will help you to spot the novel, promising use cases from the stuff that's already been done before or probably won't pan out. And at the same time, understanding the dynamics of our industry, the incentives like Isabel talked about, where financial giants, institutions are building their own closed private chains, trying to co-opt the structures we are building to do something that preserves their power. That will be important for you to know. It'll be important for you to know which tokens have received venture funding, which tokens have a vested interest in getting a market maker and launching to a DEX or a centralized exchange. And all they want is to sell you a product to make money off you and aren't really interested in delivering a future solution. Those are sort of two sides of the coin you need to think about as you evaluate utility. Not everything useful gets adopted, and not everything that is talked about or adopted is useful. The biggest driver of crypto price remains speculation. Thank you for the question. Casa de Abuela says, hello, how are you? So good to see you. Hello, and thank you for being here wherever you are, whenever you listen. I am going to take just a few more questions, and then I'm going to ride my dog and pony into the sunset. Shout out to Kimberly, the love of my life, who was leaving some sweet comments and almost derailed my liquidity analogy because she noticed the lights. And shout out to partner of the show, The White Whale, because couldn't do it without you, friend. If you're not following The White Whale, they are going through a rebrand, formerly The White Whale HL. Now they are The White Whale V2. That new whale smell, baby, on TikTok and Twitter. The White Whale was liquidated this weekend too, and has really done an admirable job of continuing to push inspiring content to support other people. It's not often that we see such a powerful person use their platform to help other people who are not as fortunate. The incentive of power, it corrupts us. But the White Whale is doing really good work, and we are proud to partner with them. And still working on them to make some sort of live appearance, because I think what they have to teach is worth your time to study. Tech Pim Q asks, how should I tokenize my collection of concert ticket stubs from the 90s? What a great question. Okay, drop your ideas in the comments. I suggest you start by learning how to make an NFT. Tech Pim Q, let me know if that's something you do. An NFT is a non-fungible token. It's different than other kinds of crypto tokens, which can be exchanged for each other like Bitcoin, Ethereum. A non-fungible token, though they may look the same, our Poh-apps have the same art, are provably unique and can be tied to a digital or physical thing to prove its uniqueness, to give it a sort of online velocity that complements its offline uniqueness. I think the first place to start is learning how to make one, and you got a couple of options, okay? I want you to write down OpenSea.io. OpenSea makes it easy for anybody, even with just a little crypto experience, to collect and create tokens from a wallet that they connect. You're going to need to bring your own wallet to OpenSea, but you can use a MetaMask wallet, a Trust wallet, a Coinbase wallet. And the reason I recommend OpenSea is because they will make it cheap and easy and have lots of good tutorials to show you how to attach an image of something to a token on a variety of different crypto networks. I recommend you get started on a crypto network that's a little cheaper to use, like Base or Polygon. You'll connect a wallet. I'll connect mine. And then, oh, come on, we'll do the Ethereum chains. And then, my friend, you can go over to their tutorials. Oh, no. What do I say? Everybody listening in podcast land, on the OpenSea website in a computer browser at the left-hand side, you'll be able to find a tab that expands into a menu. I'm looking right now at resources. They've got learn, where you can go to learn to mint an NFT. And they've got an option that says studio. Studio is what you click with your connected wallet if you want to create and issue a non-fungible token. For example, somebody captured this screenshot of Solom sending Alex an elephant nose GIF on TikTok and minted the token perfectly timed GIF. Super simple to create a collection. You can start with the create new button. It's big, blue, and beautiful. You can create a scheduled drop or an open collection, and they've even got a handy dandy guide. And from there, Tech PimQ, it's as simple as taking pictures of your concert tickets, and then we say minting them, creating a token to go with them on chain. That's a good way to get started. There are many others. And I recommend that if you're doing homework on this, you also do a little research on who some of the interesting NFT artists are in our space. There are a lot of people who've taken physical things and tokenized them, like with a picture. People have put videos on chain. People have put sounds on chain. And people that I like the best are the people who've used tokens to do novel things. One of my favorite crypto artists is called Shlomes. Shlomes did a collection of non-fungible tokens called Car, where they took a Lamborghini Huracan that they had purchased to an undisclosed desert location. They blew it up, filmed its exquisite destruction, and then created non-fungible tokens from 3D scans of the detritus. I happen to own one of these tokens because I thought that was such a cool story. The car is gone. The pieces are gone forever, but the tokens, they will live as long as the Ethereum blockchain exists. And I think that is so cool. But there are more. There are many. Shlomes is one. I also recommend checking out the artist Pack. You can find Shlomes at SHL0MS, and Pack is at Murat Pack, MURATPAK on X. Pack had the distinction of being the artist with the most valuable sale at Sotheby's. I'm not sure. Certainly the most valuable NFT artwork at the time, but the most valuable artwork ever sold at auction was their collection called Merge, and here's how they did it. They created an open edition, tokens that represented one mass unit. They were all paired with like a cute little blue dot or like a cute little white dot. Some of them were different, and they had different properties. But at the start of the sale, nobody knew what they were going to get when they bought a mass unit. You could buy as many mass units as you wanted. And at the end of this 76-hour sale, I think millions, I forget how many millions of mass units were minted, $91 million in sales. And the mass units you bought would be merged into a single token. A token was created to reflect the number of units you bought. If you bought one mass unit, you got an M1 token sent to your wallet. If you bought 13 mass units, you got an M13 sent to your wallet. And then the second phase of the collection began. Pack said, Mass wants to merge, and created a smart contract that would detect the presence of two tokens in the same wallet, and it would not allow it to happen. If I had an M1 token and bought your M1 token, the smart contract that facilitated the transfer of your token to my wallet, the reassignment of ownership, it would destroy one of the tokens. It would send it to an irretrievable address. We call this burning it. Reassign its ownership to an address that nobody has the keys to. And then it would update my token. Now it was an M2. There was a hypothetical ending to this game where one collector had merged all the mass into a single token. And there was also a hypothetical ending to this artwork where One collector had merged all the mass into a single token except for one piece, one little M1. And how much more valuable would that piece be worth when it was the last unyielding mass unit? Things like that are only possible to do with the medium of non-fungible tokens. And I hope that gets your brain going about the kind of things you might create, the ways you might add value to a collector, the way you might invite someone into a story. And of course, because we hosted Isabel from Poh-app tonight, that's a great place to start too. Poh-app.xyz. You're not going to be able to mint your concert ticket pictures there. But if you were an artist who is hosting a concert, you might issue a Poh-app to attendees so that they could remember that moment with an on-chain collectible. It would be a cool way to connect with them and have a relationship with them, and also with the artwork. You don't have to worry, if you're an artist or a collector, that somebody will resell your item off the market for lower than you stipulate it can be sold. Smart contracts fix that. You don't have to worry that somebody is going to fake or forge your on-chain artifact, because it's easy to tell one token from another without any specialized experience. And so many more cool things that are possible only in the medium of blockchain, because it is a medium. Got to think about it that way. I hope that helps. And TechPimQ, thank you very much for the question. I cannot wait to see your concert tickets on chain. Talking about Trent Reznor, a 9-inch nail stub from 1994. Oh man, I already know you got an incredible selection. And TechPimQ's follow-up question, should I use Sol? Sol is totally fine to use. If you want to use OpenSea, you can tokenize your assets on Sol. And there are lots of other NFT marketplaces. And in fact, TechPimQ, if you have follow-up questions about this, I would love to have them. And we would love to see your tokenized concert tickets. You could even fractionalize them. Let's say you have one ticket that you create 100 tokens for. So you could sell it as a 1 of 100 collectible to people who want to appreciate, collect, and commemorate the experience with you. You could do that. If you want to keep up with the follow-up, the place you got to go is community.rumshq.com. We got great forums there. We've got crypto users at all levels of experience, our friends and guests who've appeared on our show. The only thing missing, I say, because it's true, is you. So TechPimQ, I hope to see you there. And I will remind you that if you did not catch it, you need to go to poapp.xyz, home.poapp.xyz to download the app, and then use the secret word mint method to claim your very own Poh-app commemorating the show tonight with Isabel, co-founder of Poh-app. The secret word is rise and shine. Rise and shine. After dark, rise and shine wherever you are, whenever you listen. That's the vibe. Like Bearded said, the only thing missing is you. A special thank you to Rada, who says, you guys make us feel like family members, here to support us and educate us. I want to take a moment to say thank you for your hard work. And I really, really appreciate it. Rada, have a point. Bearded, have a point. And while we gather our final thoughts and questions, let me read you the points as they stand. Looks like Pizza Dow has 1 point. Rada has 1 point. Bearded has 1 point. Violet has got 2 points as the chief skincare officer and master of skincare for Rise Up. We have got Will with 2 points. Alex with 2 points. Oh, looks like I got a couple more points. I've got 5 more points. That's 6 points for me tonight. Congratulations, Evan. Thank you very much. Which means in second place with 6 points. Oh, sorry, I misread it. It's 7 points. Our guest tonight, Isabel from Poh-app, and that means that our winner for this evening with 20 points, a new Rise Up record, is the birthday girl, Christina. So, Christina, happy birthday. Thank you for being you. I cannot wait to see you and celebrate with you on Tybee Island. Hopefully it happens sooner than Pirate Fest, but you better believe I'm coming there to celebrate then too. Bearded with an update for the Poh-app airport collectible. 18 airports are listed. As of right now, only 2 have been claimed. If you missed that part of the show, you can catch the recording. Tori says, happy birthday, Christina. CryptoBoat says, I wake up every Friday and miss you. I thank you so much. You're very kind to say it. That's another reason to jump in the community. In the community, in addition to having an after show on Thursdays where we kind of get in a group call and just chat and get to know each other, answer questions, we also have office hours. I do my office hours every Friday. If you are in the community and you don't see office hours, start a premium trial. You get 10 days free. Then it's $30 a month. You get all kinds of extra benefits, a bunch of free PDFs, a bunch of guides we've published. You get discounts on every class, course, coaching that we've done. And you get office hours every week with me and Will. And soon, Alex. He's been working on settling after the move. So he will be there too. And if you don't like it or you just can't afford it right now, that's totally cool. Cancel after 10 days. And then stay tuned because several people have asked about this. And one of the things I want to work on is a scholarship fund for members, for courses, for coaching, for the cohort, the live learning cohort we're planning to launch soon. We believe that access to great education should really never be behind a paywall. And our commitment is to build everything we can totally free. And the stuff we can't do for free because we just can't scale it, we try to charge a fair rate so that we can make more content, more helpful education, and share it with even more people. And you guys really are the very best part of that. So happy birthday, Christina. Thank you all for being the very best part of what we do. And shout out to this comment who says your hair is fake because I guess we'll never know. If it's a wig, man, it's doing a hell of a job. Okay, we got to go. We're going to be back tomorrow morning. Same time, same place, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 p.m. UTC for more of the Rise Up Morning Show. Until then, all of you, stay safe, be well. My friends, rise up.